Besides all that beat, what have you been jamming since the last episode?
Oh my God. Let me go into my list real quick. I might just start going back to when I used to just make a list. But the first album I'm going to talk about is El Cousteau, Merci Non Mercy.
Never heard of it.
So he's the guy. Remember the Earl stuff went viral? Earl rapping on that little beat?
That Gaza thing? Or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Gaza I'm on the
But
corner
yeah,
like
that's
Palestine
he
or
was
something
with
like
El Cousteau. El Cousteau is someone that I found through like working with Earl and Mike like a year or two ago, and I played a few of his albums. But this album right here, bro, I think it's probably my favorite out of him, bro.
Out of all his albums?
Yeah, that I
Do
listen
you
to.
like him?
Yeah, he's cool. He's fun. This is like the type of guilt pleasure music I listen to. Like, you know, sometimes I dabble into a little trap. You know, I'm not always into conscious and all this type of stuff. You know, I venture off. You know what I mean? I get a little coonish. You know what I mean? You can blurt that out if you want. But anyways, he has like he's real fun, bro. Like I don't know if it'll be your type of fun because I know you like different like trap like Gucci type of fun. That's your type of fun. Mine is like artsy-ish, weird rapper type of fun. And I feel like El Cousteau, he gives you that, not even that balance. He's just all over the place. You know, he's from the DC area. I don't feel like they have a sonic sound unless it came to like go-go music or something. But like rapping wise,
Wale?
he had his own thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of like DC, like people from DC when it comes to musically, they all have their own like sound. You might have your group, your little homies you with, and y'all kind of sound similar. But with him, I like really he raps on those beats that you heard with him and Earl and stuff like that. He raps on those type of beats like little samples, little like the drums are kind of like, you know what I mean? It's a little dirty, sometimes a little messy. But I don't know, I like the way it sound. I like some of the little R&B flips he did on here. I think he had like 2 of those samples. And I think he actually produced some of this stuff as well. And overall, man, I enjoyed it, man. I played it back like 3 times. I played this more than a lot of, like, way more than some of the stuff we reviewed. I'm going to be honest with you. But El Cousteau, Merci Not Mercy, if y'all ever want to check it out, man. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Nice. First person I guess I got to talk about, Jill Scott. Finally started listening to some Jill Scott for the first time.
Finally.
Full project-wise. And I listened to her first 2 projects, Who Was Jill Scott? What is the name of these albums? Who Was Just Got Words and Sounds Volume 1
Classic.
and Words and Sounds Volume 2, Beautifully Human.
Amazing.
I was asleep. I really have no words to say besides I was asleep. Now, I did see some rankings online saying like, oh, her first album is the best one, and then the second one is like the one that comes after that. Me, in my personal humble opinion, I like that second album a little bit more than that first album. Not saying no, they bad. Yeah. But, you know, like I said, it's the 9.8 and the 9.7 conversation.
I noticed that about you. You usually been liking, like, when you go back, you kind of, sometimes you'll like that second album a little more.
Yeah, sometimes. I feel like the first time, the album that people consider the classic, sometimes I listen to the second album, I'm like, that second album actually hitting. Mm-hmm. I'm like, they found their groove. They knew what did and did not work, even though nothing didn't work in the first album. It's just that stuff on the second album caught me a bit more. And I'm like, oh, okay. Jill Scott, you have my ears. Now, I don't know if I want to go through the rest of the discography, but I do want to listen to Words and Sounds Volume 3. But I think I might stop right there.
I want to say this. I think there's going to be a really good conversation about when you go back to artists and usually their first album is good. Is that a problem? Because usually their
first album is good or like
no, the first album is like their best. My bad. Okay. Let me rephrase that. Their first album like their best work. Like, is that a bad thing? Because usually it's like it's either you don't live up to that or like do you actually get better?
I think it depends on the scope because it depends on it. There's a lot of context that's missing in that situation for me to really dive.
I know what I'm saying. It could be a question, just a thought.
I think for certain artists, yes. For certain artists, no.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you only strike.
Yeah,
you only hit lightning once, or strike light, or you catch the lightning in the bottle once. Some people, like a Nas Illmatic, where I think it was written as a better album. I think the reason Illmatic is held about a lot more higher because it's more impactful because of the time it came out in and when in Nas's career came out in. It was the first album. Like if that album came out like 10 albums in, then we gonna be like, okay, this is straight.
Yeah.
But because it was first and kind of like set the precedence, it's like, okay, you got a high bar to reach. And because it wasn't the stereotypical sound, even though it was written as a better sounding album overall in terms of production
and he worked with multiple producers. It was pretty much like a glorified EP, to be honest with you, because it's real short.
It was written? Oh,
not
you
It
talking
Was
about
Written. I'm talking about Illmatic.
Illmatic?
Oh, but
Yeah.
not It Was Written is probably the best.
Yeah,
one.
like to me, Illmatic, I don't want to say it like this, and I know some people gonna kill me for this. I think Illmatic sometimes comes off more so as the demo versus It Was Written sounds like the album. Like there's some money behind this. There's people behind this. Like obviously Nas is still Nas, but I think for certain people like him, because of the context of when that album came out, it's hard for him to live up to that because you set such a precedence and you've impacted the game a lot. Versus like a Kendrick Lamar, a lot of people might say that Good Kid, Mad City is his best album. First album, kind of, whatever. Section 80, all that type of stuff. Even though someone like him, he's come out with great albums even after that. But I wouldn't say that, besides maybe The Pimp a Butterfly, they really match up to Good Kid, Mad City in terms of like impact.
But you
like
could
radio
tell,
singles and stuff like that.
But
yeah,
you could tell that he was like trying to reinvent himself, making like good music. But you could say that's the better album, but you wouldn't say, oh, he will never out. Like you could tell that he didn't like get better. Pretty much. That's what I'm saying. Like he has a great album. That first album is like hard to beat, but not saying that his other albums wasn't great, but they won't equal up to that. But you also can see that he got better through the process of like making music. That's what I'm saying.
So you're telling me
like if an artist can't like they first album is their great album, they never like you could tell they didn't even get better. Like they will never touch this. I'm saying
50 Cent.
That's a perfect example.
That's literally the first person that comes to mind, which is why when people ask for more 50 Cent music, I'm like, y'all do realize he peaked at Get Rich or Die Trying, right? His first album. Not saying
even though
Massacre
Massacre wasn't
horrible,
it wasn't bad,
but it doesn't meet.
And not saying that we didn't get good 50 after that. It's just a full body of work of that.
Yeah,
it didn't meet up to expectations.
He's like sprinkles on ice cream at this point. It's like here and there, but it's like I don't want no full 50 project because the Massacre is cool, but it was mostly like it was the radio hits album to me. And was it Curtis?
Yeah,
come on, dog. Especially coming out against Graduation. Come on, dog. Like, come on. Let's really talk about this 50. Washed, which he kind of is now. But yeah, Jill Scott, great albums. Great first two albums I've heard. What's your next project or person?
It's actually not a project. What I did like a few days ago, I think it was Friday, I was listening to a lot of like singles. So it's a chick. My girl said she heard of her before. Her name is Celeste. She's a singer. This is labeled as pop, but she's like one of those I want to say theatrical like singers. Not saying it's like, oh, this gives me opera, but this gives me like, it gives me like, this is for a movie. Like it's like this is the scene where it's some uprise of like a montage of like this person is like probably going through something and they playing this song.
So kind of like cinematic.
It's
but
cinematic.
It sounds like
yeah.
it's scoring. She's scoring.
Yeah, but she's singing. But I wish I can play it, but you can't. But yeah, it's called "This Is Who I Am," and I thought about my girl when I heard it because I'm like, yo, she loved this type of music. I actually thought it was pretty good. Like I actually didn't listen to many albums. I was just kind of going through singles. I don't know. I was on a new music page, and I was just finding people because it's a few more artists. I want to check out more of her stuff. So if any of you guys know, like in the comments, her name's Celeste. This Is Who I Am. Like this song, bro. It made me feel like I felt like oh man, I'm about to do it. Yeah, inspirational in a way, like motivational. Like dang, but it also felt like I was feeling down, and this song kind of picked me up and gave me some type of motivation. Like especially how it kind of builds up. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good song, but I don't know if you want to check her out. B, your name's Celeste.
You said pop.
It's labeled as pop, but I guess it can give you that. I guess. Like that musical type of pop, like how Lady Gaga can get you sometimes. Like with
I've only heard her singles, so
yeah, not with her upbeat pop stuff, but like what's the song? See, I don't know Lady Gaga like that.
I don't either. So that's probably why
it'll give me like a vibe of like, you saw Joker too, right?
No, of course not.
You haven't seen it. Yeah, we talked about it. It's like a musical pop. I really can't explain it.
Kind of like Grease?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna probably. It's like one of those like, I can't even explain the song, bro. Sometimes you just gotta let the music speak for itself. But
I agree because I'm gonna be like that with someone that I'm gonna talk about in this as well. So.
Yeah, but Celeste, This Is Who I Am. I think is one of her newest singles. It says from the day of the Jackal. I don't know if that's her album or a movie that's coming out.
Or is it from a soundtrack?
From a soundtrack. That's what I'm saying.
So maybe it was from a soundtrack then.
Yeah, it felt like it, and yeah. So that's my.
Have you heard any of her other music The
music? No, I haven't. My girl said she has. I sent it to her. She was like, yeah, I heard of her before. I heard some of her music. But yeah, I thought about my girl when I heard it because I'm like, this is her bag. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's it for my single. One of my singles. I'll bring up another one.
All right. Next project I heard was Allure's self-titled album, and obviously their debut, Allure. R&B group from the 90s. This album came out in 97. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I don't know why. I think because of Allure and some of the features that they had back then, I was like, oh, okay, R&B group from back then. Let me check them out. There was one of those R&B groups that was like, they're forgotten with the time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say like the music was bad, but it didn't really do much back then. And back then was the perfect time to really be innovating and coming out with newer sounds, or maybe like, really reining in on the sound that was in at the time and like really honing it. This album to me was mid. It was just very MIDI. Like I was like, okay, they could sing, they got some talent here and there, but none of their voices like really stick out to me. None of the songs really popped off to me. Obviously, they had like 1 or 2 singles off the album. I think maybe 4 at max. They had features from LL Cool J, Nas on there.
Okay.
And I think Mariah Carey kind of co-signed them back then. But besides that, like this album to me, it disappointed me because usually when it comes to R&B in the 90s, I feel like a lot more people, especially back then, because it was so young and fresh at the time, there was more strides and more uniqueness and identity to each of them versus like the people who were mid in R&B back then, they were like painfully mid. Because sometimes I'd be like, this album's kind of dragging now. You ain't really got no hits. You ain't got no jams on here.
Yeah,
nothing that's really
nothing that's gonna bring you back.
I was like, dang. I'm never gonna come back to this album. Like, yeah, I like the songs on here, but I'm like, besides that, if I never listen to this again, I would not miss this album. And that's how I feel about this Allure album right here. Sorry, Allure. I mean, y'all not making music anymore, so I'm pretty sure y'all don't care. But yeah, with this album, a four girl membered group just wasn't it. It's all right though, because Flow this week they will save me. And
Are they dropping?
Oh, they dropping this week. Okay. All access, baby. Yes, sir. I need it.
I hope it's bad. Okay, my next project is this is a project I listened to actually a few weeks ago, but I didn't mention it on the pod because I wanted to, but I didn't fit it in. But Stop Calling Me, I'm Cooking, Side A by Stove God Cooks. This is like a.
I thought it was actually called Side. I thought it was my Side A. I was like, huh?
No. But anyways, he dropped this. I want to say I'll probably maybe in July, August.
This
I
year?
could be wrong. Yeah, but he dropped it like on his website, so it was like $20 to buy. But, I got allegedly. I
didn't know if it was on streaming now.
No, it's not. It's still not.
Oh, still not.
He got an album for $1 million. Like for what? $1 million on his site. I might drop my next shit for $1 million. Nah, it's just I don't know. He's not that good. So Stove God is really clever when it comes to his NBA, his cooking crack lines and stuff like that. But this EP it was okay. I want that full project from Stove. I want that that Stove of that reachable drought. You know what I'm saying? I need that type of Stove back, man. Because this dude haven't dropped a project, so I was fiending. Like most of all his stuff is like with West Side Gun. And I feel
what
like
about Rock Marciano?
Well, he's not with Rock no more. He was with Rock on his first album, but now he's with Westside. He Gazelda.
Oh, you talking about label wise? I thought you meant just working with them.
Nah, he ain't been working with Rock. I don't know if they've been going through something, but I don't even see them with each other no more. But this project was okay. It was like I think the starting track. I love the soul sample on Earl to Pearl. Other than that, like the other stuff is kind of like forgettable. It's not like the stuff on his first debut project. And like I don't know if I'm getting fatigue on a lot of these artists.
Drug rap, you getting tired of it, ain't you?
Yeah.
See.
It's not like I'm getting tired of just that specific like artist. It's like me when it came to like Marvel movies. I just got tired of the world. So I think some of like the Gazelda world.
The world or the formula?
The world.
You got tired of the Marvel world?
Yeah, I stopped.
Like you didn't like,
bro.
What was the last Marvel movie you seen?
Like Endgame or something.
You didn't see Wolverine and Deadpool?
No.
Oh well, you didn't like Deadpool in general. So
yeah, I don't like Deadpool, bro. I'm sick of the world. I don't.
Logan came out after or before?
Logan was way before B.
Okay.
It was before I even moved out this way. Logan was like 20.
Oh yeah. Because I had to still look.
Yeah, like 2014, 2015, right?
Yeah. Let's see. You give me years.
Yeah. It was
2010s blends in for me.
Maybe 2013.
After. No,
I know it had to be like 2015-ish, I think.
When Logan?
2016. Right?
2015, 2016. I had my first apartment.
Okay. But yeah, I was done with the world. So like the world of like this, the world of like Zelda kind of like, I think I'm fatigued on it. Not the world of like that if you give me a different rapper that's probably doing it in a different way, I might, take a listen. But to be honest, this stuff is like,
You feel like their best work was when they was hungry still be?
They could be putting out stuff now, but I think I couldn't give it to be honest, I don't know if I can give it a genuine, because I'm fatigued on it. So I'm going to be like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not, I can listen to other projects from them that's better. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
Maybe it's that nostalgia bias.
Could be. But Stove God Cooks, stop calling me. I'm cooking. If y'all check it out, check it out. If not, go purchase it. Buy it, support him. I still love Stove God. He still got some clever NBA bars, bro. Mm-hmm. Like he flipped the NBA lines. He be saying some wild stuff. One day you need to check out his project, bro. I wonder if you'll like it.
I wanted to check out Reasonable Drought.
Yeah, that joint.
Did you say Rock produced that?
Yeah.
Didn't you say that he don't use drums?
Bro, watch it. Listen to it, bro.
Man, because look, if there ain't no drums, I can't have no fun.
Man, listen to it, bro. What's your next project?
My next project, and this one might be a surprise, Lloyd Banks' new project, Halloween the Havoc 5.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, I checked it out. Wish I didn't. This is unk rap right here. Stuff like Rap Roundtable would praise. This is that type of rap right here. And I'm just like, this is one of the most boring albums I've heard this year. Damn. It's not bad. It's just the fact of like, and I know when it comes to certain rap, this is what they do though. Yeah. You're right, it can be what they do. But it can still be boring.
38 Special on there, right?
No, I don't think so.
I saw a clip of Kid Cudi posted a 38 Special Lloyd Banks track.
I don't think he had a feature on this project, which to me, too much Lloyd Banks on this album. Way too much Lloyd Banks on this project. I'm so fly. Yeah, I'm just like, because I'm looking right now.
Dang, how many tracks on there?
It's 16 songs, 47 minutes. This album was boring to me. And I'm first track, I'm like, all right, this didn't really set the mood. Like, it set the tone, but to me, it didn't ease me into the album. I'm like, all right, this just feels like a regular song. Second track comes in, I'm like, all right, cool. Season of the Psychos come in, I'm like, all right, I'm here. Connoisseur comes in, I'm like, all right, it's kind of sounding samey now. Yeah. Like using same flows. Lloyd Banks raps well. That's not the problem. It's the fact of like, it's kind of like a game type thing sometimes where it's like, if you don't get enough interesting production behind your rapping well, because you can only rap so well to where it's like, okay, I could find a whole bunch of other people that are rapping well on better production. And my thing is like, vibe-wise, this album is here, but that's also a problem because it's consistently in this certain soundscape, and it stays in that soundscape, and it's a very comfortable soundscape, and it don't really change or innovate or anything like that. Some of the beats are jamming. It's just the fact of they all sound very samey.
That used to be my problem with Lloyd Banks. It's like his voice.
But also, see, I wouldn't have a problem with his voice if he would have switched his flows up. He doesn't switch his flows up enough. He's way too comfortable.
He in the same pocket like all the time.
This whole album's
and that's why I say with his voice, right? Because it's that same voice, that same tone, that same flow that, as a package, it just bored me. It bored me. I never finished Lloyd Banks' Platinum album, his first album that came out. I know it went platinum. I can't finish
the one where I'm So Fly on it.
Yeah.
For me, when it comes to this project right here, like I said, this is unk rap right here. Like, if you were unk. Like, if you of that age, like 30 and up, like I said, Rap Roundtable, a lot of the East Coast guys, they would praise this, but they will crap on a trap album. Yeah. I'm like, this is literally the same. It's the same. It's a flip of the same coin. Yeah. I'm like, this is exact same sounding song. Like, if I were to play two different songs for someone that wasn't familiar with Lloyd Banks, they'll be like, okay, what's the next song? I'm like, oh, I already played you two songs. Yeah. Like, this whole album just sounds very samey. And like I said, and my thing is this, right? I don't have a problem with the subject matter because when it comes to an album, especially with 16 tracks, when it comes to certain rappers and their albums, they're gonna most likely talk about the same topics and subject matter over time, especially with 16 tracks. But 47 minutes, all these songs sound the same. Oh yeah, I got these ops. My ops don't want to mess with me. I got it on me. I'm from the struggle. I'm from the streets. I'm just like, I get tired of that rap. Like, especially if it's over something samey and you don't switch it up or change it up. I'm going to have a critique about that with someone else, but also I feel like because if you have charisma, character, and if you at least, I can see what you're doing, all right, the attempt is what matters to me. To me, it's like you were way too comfortable.
Banks can rap. Not saying, but it's just
it's too comfortable.
He's too like his. I'm not saying his voice. He's not charismatic to me. He don't mess around like with his voice like that. Like the sound. I don't know. More charismatic, more character in that. That's why I never gravitated to Banks as an MC. And he could put out some dope verses, but I only can hear him in like increments, like in little spurts and like features. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like remember the old Halloween stuff? The other stuff he used to put out.
The Halloween Havoc.
I couldn't get into them.
See, I never checked them out. I haven't checked out Banks since, and I hate to say it like this, during the blog era of like near like Beamer, Benz, and Bentley.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I like that song, but it has a lot more interesting production.
I like when Eminem flipped it.
Huh?
Eminem went off it.
Who?
Eminem.
Oh, I thought you said him. I was like,
I like when Eminem flipped and he got on beat. Boy,
see, I haven't heard that in a while, but also I'm not an Eminem fan, so it's not like I went.
That's when M was rapping, bro.
But
he still
raps, I guess like I always tell you, like I always come back in here, and like you told me before, I like commercialized drug rap.
Yeah.
This is cool. This would have been cool if it was like a 7-8 track EP. I didn't need 16 songs of the same song. Okay. I'm just like, and the flow is the same. Like I said, subject matter is the same. The way you go at each song is dang near the same. Hooks ain't catchy. Nothing really gravitates me. And this is music. And the reason I say hooks ain't catchy, because you have hooks.
Yeah.
You've made catchy hooks. Maybe with the, 8 or 50 cent and all them. Maybe. Allegedly. I don't know. But if you're going to make a song and you have a hook to it, you're most likely trying to at least make it catchy to some degree. Yeah. None of these hooks, I don't remember a single one. There's like 2 or 3 tracks I might return to off of this, but besides that, I would never listen to this again. And literally, I was on the 3rd, 4th track. I'm like, all right, this is cool. I got to the 8th track. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have played this album. And I hate when I get boring albums like that because I'm just like, oh, this is the same thing. Like, dog, like, the worst part is it makes the album even longer. And I'm like, oh, when will this end? Uncrap, East Coast people. I get it. This is y'all's guy. Y'all can't be hyping it up on Twitter, though. Y'all got to know, like, when it's like, okay, this is East Coast bias right now. This isn't great. Bro, rap, like I said, he could rap. That's not the problem. But imagine Freddie Gibbs going over the same type of production for every single song. And he never changed the flow up, which is something he's good at. This will be that, and I don't like this. I'm sorry, Lloyd Banks. I tried. You could call me one of your ops or your haters in this song. I don't care. This was boring. Change it up.
I feel you.
Especially when I was looking through some of the credits, I'm like, oh, you kept getting that one producer, Getson something, or Getson, whatever his name is. He kept giving you the same type of beats, and I'm like, you just heard that? You was like, yeah, keep giving me beats that sound like this one. Just tweak it up a little bit more. This is boring to me. I'm sorry.
Hey, man. I don't know what to say. Especially with Twitter, bro. They hype up all types of stuff Bro, they hyped out that West Side Gun album. Anyways, my next project, Synthetic Soul by Chiiild. If you don't know Chiiild, he is it's actually 2 of them, I'm not mistaken. But he's also a producer, singer. He worked with a lot of artists. He's actually from, I think, somewhere in Canada. But anyways, Chiiild, like I was just re-going through like a lot of his EP he put out a few years back, and I'm like, bro, he got some joints on here. Like he does like R&B with his own little twist on it, and he's not like just traditional. He's more of like the R&B with alternative, pretty much. You know what I'm saying?
Like a Frank Ocean, Leon Thomas.
Kind of, but more like a more like a him and Q. I don't know if you know the singer Q.
Spell it. Q-U-E?
It's just Q. But like they like in the same little bag, like the alternative bag. They add little other elements to their sound. And he just got songs on here that I just love, man. And I don't know, he's more interesting on the production side to me. And also he can make like not even on this project. If you go to his second project, Hope for Sale, like he has dreamy stuff on there. It reminds you of stuff that like have I heard this before? Because sometimes he could pull elements from like the 80s. Like you could tell that he's just a lover of music. So
does he actually sample those sounds, or does he like, recreate it?
It's like he recreated it in his own way, but it sounds so familiar. And in some of his projects, because some of his stuff is just veers off to his stuff. But overall, man, Chiiild, Synthetic Soul, Fire, and if we want to do a 2-part because it's an EP, you could check out Hope for Sale as well. If y'all haven't heard of his projects, and he put out a project last year as well, but I only listened to it once, and I need to visit it just to really get my thoughts, man. But he's really dope. You can check him out, bro. I know that type of R&B ain't your thing, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. But child, I was playing him over the weekend with my girl and stuff. But I also got singles, but that was just I've been going through like some stuff I added, like for the last few months that I've been just playing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I haven't talked about this on the pod, so well on the show. Child Synthetic Soul Fire.
Next project I have, shout out to TDE's newest artist, Alemeda. This is someone that they signed.
Oh, you checked out her EP?
Yeah, I checked out her EP, F It, like it's FK space it. All this stuff will be in the show notes and in the description. So I listened to her project, and you know, I had her on the back burner because she was saying, you know, she's a new TDE signing. We just got Doechii, really good, but I didn't want to hold her up to a Doechii standard because with TDE, let's be real, their track record is phenomenal. Like, look at the artists that they signed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I also didn't want to put that standard on someone who I wasn't familiar with at all, who really doesn't have any type of like cosign basically yet. And so, you know, I saw one of her TikToks pop up on my For You page, and it said, when you trick TDE into signing you and you're not a rapper, but you're like a alt pop girl or whatever.
That's pretty
much
much what she is.
Exactly. And so I went into this project, F It, and I was like, all right, I'm going to listen to alternative rock / pop. I don't really know because it's like I'm not really familiar with that sound. And so when I went to check it out, I told you this before. When it comes to certain artists, they could bring me into certain sounds or certain types of music, and they could be my gateway into it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it could be my gateway to stop as well.
Yeah.
Like a Childish Gambino with his last project, the soundtrack that he came out with, Bando Stone, while he played with all those different types of sounds, sonically and genre-wise. This is one of those projects where I'm like, all right, let me test it out, let me try it out. And I enjoyed every song off of it. I can see myself going back to this right here. 8 songs, 22 minutes. This is like, and I hate to say this because I say this about every time I listen to an album that's like alternative rock and not R&B, alternative rock, I guess indie and stuff like that. It reminds me of like those days when I would watch American Pie, or the type of songs I would listen to like in the soundtrack of that movie, or the type of songs I would listen to on Rock Band. Obviously not the hardcore
Blink
rock
182.
stuff. It reminds me of that stuff that I've heard of because I'm not a big fan of that stuff.
Bowling for Soup.
I don't know who that is. But you know, the Fall Out Boys, all that type of stuff. This is what this reminds me of. And for me, I enjoyed some of the stuff from those bands that I've heard. And so hearing this album right here, it's mostly like emotional breakup stuff, most of it. Which I have no problem with. Like I heard
a few of songs.
Yeah, and she had one song on here, "Gonna Bleach My Eyebrows," which I didn't know was old, but you could also tell that it was a very different song because it sounds sonically different compared to the other songs on the actual project itself. And it was a single that came out, I think, like 2021 maybe, or 2022. I'm not sure. Y'all can fact check me on that. But yeah, I listened to the project. It's an EP. It's cool, short, 22 minutes, 8 songs. I wasn't trying to have like too much hope going into this and like, oh, let me get into this. But I do want to try out TDE's new signee because, one, black woman, want to support. And also TDE, like I said, has a track record for signing great artists. SZA, Doechii, Schoolboy Q, Absol. The list goes on, basically. And so, yeah, I thought this project was cool. I'm really curious to see where can you take this sound album-wise to where it's like it's not too reliant on like a nostalgic sound, but also it screams out you. You get what I'm saying? Because without this, I would have thought that this was like alternative rock or whatever, or you know, the softer rock, indie, whatever you want to call that. I don't know what that whole scene is called. But yeah, without the face of her, I would have thought that this was coming out like back then. And like I said, I enjoyed that type of music back then in dosages. Now, like I said, I don't know how this would sound as a whole album. So I'm very curious to see where she would go at. But I did listen to one other track by her. And I just want to mention
it
it briefly.
Is it a newer track or what?
It's an older track. It was her first track that's actually on streaming, which is called "Wish You the Worst," and it's like basically an R&B song. And I'm like, where was this at? I'm like, hold up. I'm like, you was singing on here. I like this. I'm like, get a little back in this bag. Look, if you make an album and you want to be like multi-genre or whatever, do your thing, but make sure you label it.
Add a little bit of that in there.
Yeah, add a little more of this in there. I'm like, all right, what are we doing with this? Especially since this came on my little recommended, so it came on right after the album, and I heard this. I'm like, oh, who's this? I need to add this to the playlist. And then I saw it was her. I'm like, hold up.
Yeah.
I just got to listen to some rock. You gonna put me in the R&B bag? I'm like, you can't do that, because now you teasing me. I need some more of this. So I do want to check out some more of her singles maybe this week. Maybe talk about them in the next episode. But yeah, Alemeda, F It. I can't say the word obviously because I don't cuss. But F It, the EP.
Oh my God. So my next this is a single. This one caught me off guard. It's by a band called Dust. It's called New High. And like when this comes on, I don't know if any of you guys out there, I know he's not, familiar with like King Cruel, Old Children. It's that type of like rock music, the indie rock that gives you like, it's like rock funky, you know. So it's like it's hard. See, I'm telling. Sometimes it's hard to explain when you just. Sometimes you know, some people probably wouldn't know what you're trying to articulate, like with the sound of the artist. And like I know I couldn't have this conversation with you because you don't know like who King Cruel is and stuff like this. But it like brings you into like what's something you probably heard. Anyways, I'm gonna speak to the audience at this point because maybe they know. But it brings you in, right? Like. With the guitar, not the guitar, but yeah, with the guitar with the bass, and then you hear a saxophone, and you're just like, what the hell does this come from? And like the vocalist, he has his voice is not distorted, but it's kind of rough, and I love that. I'm a sucker for like a rough voice and give me like a dope, you know, like a dope instrumentation going on when it comes to this, and it's just. It gives you like, dude, oh my God, I wish I could explain this for you. Like, play it. It's hard to like.
Who would you represent?
I'm saying
who's you said it's like
sonically, he's more like King Cruel to me.
King Cruel is a band or is it a person?
It's a person but a band. Archie, but.
So like Sade. Sade is a person, but it's also the name of the band.
Yeah, no, because his name is Archie.
Oh.
But King Cruel is like the name he go out under, but he have a band, but his moniker is King Cruel. You get what I mean?
So it's just him.
It's just his artist name. But he has a band. It's like Tori Moi. Like it's Chad, but he has a band. You get what I mean?
See, now you know how to listen to Tori Moi.
But like I wish I could explain this, but if you guys want to hear some dope like indie rock, I'm gonna check out their project. They put out a project last year.
What was the label under on Apple?
Oh, indie rock.
Oh, okay.
Indie rock. Cause like when you either gonna label it alternative rock or indie rock when it comes to like something that don't sound like, you know, high production, stuff like that, and like a little different. They're gonna label it indie rock or alternative. Mostly indie when it comes to like you know, that roughness to it. And I don't know, bro. This joint, I played this like 3-4 times. Like, yo, this is crazy right here. I like this, man. But it's called New High. You know, they don't want nobody to mess with their New High. You know what I mean? I wish you get into this bag, you know. You ain't on this.
The problem that I can't get into this bag is because one, I'm too old. I focus on the hip hops and I focus on the R&B. And while our people have created such great genres, there's so much like history behind it and like references and examples that I don't get, which is why I do go back and I listen to the older stuff, so I can kind of get the context behind certain things, see where it kind of started from. It's like watching old horror movies to see like where certain elements come from.
Look what their album is under.
Dust? What? I can't see.
Alternative.
Oh.
But you know,
I think that's what that Effort project would be under.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not sure. Cause see, I don't know what constitutes as rock because isn't Elvis rock?
Rock and roll, yeah.
But wouldn't Everlong be rock too? Is that the name of them?
Who?
Everlong.
Everlong. I don't know who that is.
It's the album or it's the band with the balls on the front cover. Pause. Oh, Foo Fighters.
Oh,
I don't know why I didn't think that because there's a JoJo character named that.
Yeah, Foo
That's the only way I remember their names because of JoJo.
what's the guy Dave Grohl in Foo Fighters? Used to be in Nirvana.
See now you.
They actually got in a fight or something like that. Something happened on stage not too long ago.
Dang.
Dave Grohl stole off on the boy. You know what I mean?
Ghetto. Ghetto.
What's your next project, V?
Next project I had to listen to. Chris Patrick's The Calm. This is my first time checking out.
And I talked about it on the pod.
Yeah, you did. And so this is my first time listening to Chris Patrick. I wanted to listen to him based off of his feature from D2X's.
Wow.
Yeah, that Wow song, because wow, that feature was great. I went to this project. No offense, Chris Patrick. I was not wowed. And no, I wasn't expecting what he gave me on that because it's a feature. You got to stand out. You got to show out. You got to come to prove. And this project right here, it's not bad. It's just,
It's calm.
but it's boring too. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, it's not a bad project. Can he rap well? Yes. Production, it's all right. But to me, there's not much character in this project for me. And I hate to say that because to me, this comes off, and I said this before in the previous episode, this comes off as epidemic sound music. This comes off as the music as it's standard like cool rap. Like you ain't gotta be black to like listen to it. You ain't gotta be white to listen to it. And I say that because certain stereotypes.
Yeah, I know.
Certain people listen to certain things. Like this is the type of music where it's like cool around the board. Like you could play this around like basically anyone. It's not offensive rap. That's the best way I can put this. This is not offensive rap, but also this is like rap music that I would put on my YouTube video because it's royalty free. You get what I'm saying? And is that a
say you're a
bad thing?
generic rapper, Chris. On this
See,
album, on this
the reason
EP,
I don't want
on
to say
this
generic
EP.
because I think people like Finesse 2 Times and Big X the Plug and all them are generic. The reason I don't know what to call these people, that's why the best way I can say is Epidemic Sound, where it's like, I see that you have talent there, but it's like there's no character in it. At least with people like a Finesse 2 Times or Big X the Plug, while they might not be great rappers, and the Boss Man D-Lo, their character shows.
Yeah.
Here with me, the production doesn't stand out for me in terms of like your choice of beat selection. And this could be monetary things. You might not be able to have the money to buy the beats that you want. So I'm never really judging that too hard on up and coming artists. But like I said, for me it just doesn't scream out enough character for me. And I'm like, I feel like I've heard stuff like this before. Like I said, a lot of times I hear a lot of this type of music that he does on this. He gets a little bit more introspective and personal on stuff like this. The reason though, like I said, like I heard this type of stuff is because when I am editing my YouTube videos on my Dark Sage YouTube channel with the manga and stuff behind me, I constantly listen to this music because this is the type of music that's on Epidemic Sound. And to me, I hate to say it like this, that music don't stand out. Like I know like some of these songs, unless the beat is banging, I'm not going back to any of these songs because they don't really do much for me.
He's like he falls up under that Saba tree to me, like great value, like Saba.
So
like when it comes to that,
Saba
yeah,
song?
it's like a samba, like Saba.
See, we're gonna talk about someone later. Yeah, I guess that'd be the best way to say it. Like I like Saba's project, the one where he's sitting on the table.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of people. I've been listening to a lot of kids lately. Like it's like they trying to recreate that sound, and Saba they don't care for me. But like Saba did it. You know, he was way like the stuff.
He was ahead of the.
And I think he's far better like a storyteller than a lot of rappers.
And better writing.
Yeah, writing.
And more kind of, I don't want to say.
Even though so Chris Calm, I enjoyed the project because I understand the sound.
For me, like I understand it. It's just like, it don't, like this don't draw me to come back to it.
Yeah.
And like I said, Epidemic Sound, me calling your music that, it's not bad because there's a place for people to go on Epidemic Sounds, get your music heard, royalty free, so that way people can pay their subscription and listen to it. But for me, that type of music just doesn't stand out for me. Yeah. So while it's not a horrible thing, it's also not a good thing. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
I call it YouTube rapper.
YouTube rapper?
The YouTube rapper sound.
Wait, U2 or YouTube?
YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
Epidemic Sound.
But I wouldn't say he falls into that from my experience with him. Because I know what you mean, B.
One day I'm gonna have to. I know have you
exactly
seen any of my latest videos on my channel? Like
yeah, like you talking about like the production in the background, like that yeah, I understand that.
Does that sound like this?
I know what you mean, B. I exactly know what you mean.
Okay,
it's just we on different sides of the aisles. How I cling more to that music, and you just like, yo, this is boring. I understand.
Yeah, because I feel like this is like run of the mill. That's why I say that. Like run of the mill for that sound.
Right? Yeah. Like I will give them more grace. You wouldn't, in a way. Like
that's because it's like, all right, like I said, because I associate a lot of this with work, because this is my work in terms of like when I'm listening and I got to listen to the songs and stuff like that. I'm like, it's kind of boring. Like it don't jump out to me.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? And like I said, for me, it comes off comfortable too, because it's like I've heard plenty of people do this sound. I've heard plenty of people go for this type of sound. It just sounds too comfortable for me, and too comfortable, depending on who you ask, can be a good thing or a bad thing. For me, comfortable comes off as boring, and to me, boring is bad. This isn't like, it's not like I'm not saying that you don't have talent and you can't rap. It's just the fact of, it don't really do much for me in terms of like the replayability factor, the fun factor. Like that's the parts that I'm missing in here. Like if this would have come out years ago, back when I was in college, and I first like heard this,
be something you can.
I'm like, oh yeah, like I could relate to this.
But I think, that's why I think when it comes to part of like us not aging out, but getting to a point of life where like, remember I was saying like some of these albums not gonna connect us like that, especially because we're not in this generation, and like people that's in the college will this will be their album for that, like, oh man, that Chris Patrick. But us like, this is.
See, this
we heard it before.
Yeah,
we're not, you know.
And see, that's the worst part for me. And sometimes subject matter don't really matter. It's the fact of, because I've lived long enough, and I hate that we're becoming the old head, I've heard this sound already.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to say I've heard it done better, but I've heard it done more interestingly. And when I did hear it, it was more fresh. So I was a lot more open to it.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. Is like if I hear you do this sound and you don't innovate on it, yes, you can come out with a good project under this sound. But for me, I'm just like, good just ain't enough for me to want to come back to this because I have stuff with nostalgic ties that I like that's in the sound. But I might go to that because I have nostalgic ties to it. Would I still like that music in today's climate? Maybe no, but for me, this just didn't. It doesn't pull me back in. Like I said, this isn't a bad project. I like some songs on here. There was one song where I felt like he was imitating Denzel Curry on there, and I'm like, I could tell, like, yeah, you did different production on there, so I gotta give you credit on that. But I was like, you sound like you trying to emulate Denzel Curry, and I'm like, I don't like this. Yeah, like whatever you was doing, that song literally was the opposite of calm. Yeah, but yeah, besides that, like I said, it's not a bad album to me. It's just, it's a standard project in that sound, and like I said, I'm trying to do constructive criticism when it comes to more up and coming artists because they have room to grow. Yeah. Like a lot of like I said, when it comes to like someone like a Big Sean, you need to stop rapping. Yeah. Like so, you disrespect. I'm not. Yeah, that's the point. I get disrespectful because they need to be. Oh they already got glazers, so I gotta offset that. This guy. When it comes to this, I gotta give you the criticism of how I feel. Just because it's how I feel, it does not mean that this is indicative of all your work or indicative of the actual album. And this is how everybody else feels. This is how I feel. Right. And I'm just giving you my opinion, my perspective, because that's what our opinions is. Yeah. It's based off of our experiences and our perspective. You sick. But yeah, Chris Patrick's The Calm. Some of you kids might like it. If you are younger than me and you're not familiar with the sound, then you will like this for sure. But for me, because I've heard this sound before plenty of times, and even for work, this is boring to me. It don't stand out to me. This fits in with Epidemic Sound. This is something I would use on my YouTube video. I'm like, oh yeah, this song is cool. Like let's get the crowd hyped up for when I bring in my next scene of me talking. Like yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm done.
You tapped out, B?
Yeah. I don't got nothing else to talk about when it comes to music. I could mention like to be honest, I'm gonna try to listen to more music. When I'm consuming stuff, it's hard because I don't drive much, and when I'm at work, I be listening to podcasts, all this type of stuff. So sometimes it's the singles I listen to, but I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like a single I want to talk about, I don't remember it, but I listened to it and I can't talk about it. Fire? I liked it, but I can't talk about it because I don't remember it, and I don't want to mention it because that's my guy. But he dropped a single, B, and I just don't remember it like that. And that's my guy. I'm
listen to that later.
Yeah, so
I've been feeling for that.
Yeah.
Pause on that.
But yeah, other than that, man, that's all I got from some of my stuff.
I guess my last project, you didn't finish it, but I'll give it a mini review because I'd never imagined us reviewing this project anyway on here. Sahbabii's SAHEEM. Oh yes, sir. Now, if you guys don't know, I don't want to say he's fully entering the Rolodex yet, but I mean on the channel, you probably see the clip of it or whatever, right? When it comes to Sahbabii, I'm a fan of Sahbabii. I was a little bit late to the train, maybe a few months late. This man tried to put me on.
Nah, he was like a year late.
No, I wasn't, because I remember this was his only project out, and I listened to that, and I jammed it, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, when it comes to Sahbabii, I enjoy his music, actually. And last year, I don't know what made me want to go back, like, through his whole discography, but last year I listened to all the music I missed out on, plus I went back to the music I heard back when we worked at the Big Blue Building. Sahbabii is one of those rappers to me where he was that Young Thug clone that he never got the attention of Young Thug. I don't even say clone, baby, because he literally takes a lot of sound and inspiration from Thug. And Thug is one of those people that is like one of the most influential artists of that time period in general. And to see a lot of his babies and where they have went, some of them, not all of them. Sahbabii is one of those ones that I feel like, I don't want to say he didn't go anywhere, but it's like, dang, why wasn't he like? We peaked very early.
I think we talked about this last episode, right? How I thought he was going to be bigger, bro.
Yeah,
because like he had his own style, but
with that sound,
with that sound, and sometimes, bro, even on his album, like I ain't finished it, but to what I got, sometimes he do Thug better than Thug. I'm just saying, bro.
Sometimes I was going to say something.
What?
B.
I don't know if at first when I first heard this, like in a minute, but like,
but see, this is the thing. B. I first heard this, I'm like, this sound sounds like Thug. Yeah. But then I thought to start the thing, I'm like, I didn't like Barter 6 like that. Yeah. I didn't like 1017 Thug like that. I love this. Bro. I was like, is this Young Thug at home? I said, no, this is Young Thug upgraded.
Bro, right Viking, bro. The
second track?
Bro, Viking, bro.
Yeah, Viking is hard, but hey.
Viking is crazy.
Sahbabii, I don't know what it is, and I will admit, because like I said, I went through his discography all last year before we even started doing the show. And I don't know what really led me to get to his discography, but it's not like his projects is like insanely long. I mean, they follow a similar formula to this. But I will say, with certain albums before this, I really like, I think it's called 7. The one with him and the squid on the front, it's like an anime cover. I liked Sondas. Sondas is just hard. I think that's still his best project. This is up there though, even though it's not really saying much compared to his discography. And a lot of people's like, oh, we don't talk about his discography enough. I'm like, trust me, you guys don't
That's
need
the one
to.
when he had the chick on his, like right there on like.
With Sondas? Yeah, the one with pull up with a stick on it.
What was the one? I remember the one before. What was the one when he had like stuff coming out of him or whatever, and it was like an anime cover.
That's what I'm saying.
That's 2017,
that's
right?
That's the one with Seven Squids. He did the song with R. Kelly, even though it's not on that project, but he did a song with R. Kelly. It's called it just went viral too because of some meme. With
But Breadhead, I don't know. Breadhead was a single he put out a few years ago.
Yeah, it was it's on one of them projects.
Breadhead was fire, bro.
I like bread. What he said about booty hole.
No. On this album, like I didn't finish it. I know you're gonna talk more about it, but one song I was like, why did he put this on here? Bell Boys.
Bell Boys.
That song shouldn't have been on here. I was like, yo.
Nah, he was loving that song.
I know, but for me, I didn't care for it. I was just laughing, but I'm like, bro, if he would have took that out, to me, 1 through freaking 10, what I listened to was like, to me, was a perfect run. I was like jamming, but I was like, Bell Boys. I was like, this is the only slippage that I got.
When I first heard the album, I was like, But after I heard it like the third time, I'm like, oh,
I only heard it once, so I couldn't. We put built the.
Hey, facts. Hey, I be doing that too.
I'm like, no, I don't like this one yet.
But yeah,
oh, feel me? Oh my god.
No, so for me, I will say this project for me, it's 18 songs, 46 minutes. Sahbabii, I don't know what it is in the water that he's been drinking recently, but he was like, I'm not gonna be Sahbabii on this album. I'm gonna be Young Thug, but I'm gonna be a better version. And I'm just like,
what?
Dang.
Why I feel like he hungry on this for some reason? Like I feel like he has something to prove.
I think because people really wasn't talking about his past few projects. Which there were some songs on his past few projects that I really enjoyed, but people really wasn't talking about him for one. He even had one song on one of them where he was introspective. He talking about his dead homie and things like that. Like, oh, you shouldn't have went to go do that. Rewind. I think that's like one of my favorite songs by Sahbabii.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know what it is in the water that he's been drinking, but I feel like, and I hate to say it like this, Lost All My Feelings when that song first came out. I remember when it first came out because, like I said, I was doing the Sahbabii listen.
Right.
So on my title, it was like, oh, you follow Sahbabii now. And then when the song popped up, I'm like, oh, Sahbabii had a new song. Let me check it out. I listened to it. I'm like, oh, this is fire. I'm like, this is fire. I'm like, what are we doing? But then months later, it got viral on TikTok. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, but I don't see him coming out with a project anytime soon. He came out with a project this weekend, and I'm like, let me listen to this. But I'm scared. I'm going into this with no expectations. I know a lot of people were trying to praise his discography this weekend. No one was talking about his discography or his albums that was dropping before.
Hey, look,
it's that recency bias.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Look, nobody else was gonna talk about it. Came out, but who posted the news? Because that's
I didn't know.
Yeah, even though I don't.
But
follow
that's
him,
because I switched streaming platforms.
Yeah, even though he's not my guy like that no more. Like I used to listen to him more. But when I saw him post on his Twitter, because I still follow it. Come on, bro! I gotta put it on here, bro. And I knew it was gonna be left field, but I'm like, I had to put it on there because it just
Sahbabii's my guy. Yeah, it's just that, like I said, when I switch streaming services, a lot of my music gets lost. I don't remember what I like. My playlist is gone and stuff like that. I hate that because I'm like,
that's when you was on Tidal.
Yeah. So when I switched over, all the stuff I did it's not here no more, and I'm like, I gotta start over. That's why I've been doing a lot of music on what we've been jamming. I've been trying to build my library back up because I'm like, okay, from now on, I'm staying on Spotify. I'm not moving no more. But
I left, man.
When it comes to Sahbabii on this album right here, I don't know what it is, SAHEEM. But I'm like, dang, you did Thug to me better. And it sounds like older Thug.
Yeah.
Like Thug back when I was in high school, like blog era Thug. Back when he was still running around with Gucci Mane, kind of. I'm like, to me, this sounds like a better version of it. I'm like, at first I was like, oh, this is great value Thug. Then I started listening. I'm like, no. I'm like, I like this more than the Thug I was listening to back then.
Yeah, bro.
And I wasn't the biggest Thug fan back then, but I'm like, God dang.
Hey, bumping this in the whip, bro. I haven't even put this in the head. Bumping this in the whip was just amazing. I didn't finish it, but just I said it before, but still driving to the crib, playing this, I was like, bro, it didn't have that on film talking about driving fast, bro. Because hey, how my car, I told you when I drive faster, my music go louder, bro. I was like, oh, Phil. I was like, yo, this go for wreck. I'm like, chill out, bro. But nah, hey, bro. I can't wait to finish the rest of the album. Yeah. You said it sounded like a totally different album.
To me, so going into this album and getting to Lost All My Feelings, I will say this, and this is one of my problems with a lot of the youngins from that era and this era. They make a whole bunch of songs, And sometimes I'm like, these songs don't sound like fully developed. It just sounds like you want to get on a different beat. You rapping the same stuff. I'm like, it's not really doing anything for me. Some of these songs, well, each of these songs, they all jam on their own, and I'll be cool with it. Like I said, some of these songs don't feel fully developed to me because there were some songs I was here like for like less than 2 minutes. And I'm like,
for real?
You just left this off the album. But yeah, going into this, like I said, Lost All My Feelings. To me, this sounded like, okay, this sounded like the first fully thought out song.
Yeah.
Like it sounded like you went in there, you had no anticipation of making an album, but you wanted to at least make a single for people to listen to in the meantime. This is what Lost All My Feelings. And then after that, I was like, okay, like he started getting into that like deeper voiced thug sound. I'm like, okay, especially with Stay Away From Trouble. Stay Away From Trouble. I'm like, okay, the bass was hitting on that. Songs like Bye, I'm forgetting the other songs. Working, Save It For Me, Baby. I'm like,
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite projects from you. Like I said, I listened to your whole discography last year. There's some stuff in there where I'm just like, And my favorite two projects is the one with Sondis, the one with him getting head by the girl, and the other one is, I forgot the name of it. I want to call it Seven.
He got her on his stomach.
Yeah. What does Sondis stand for? And so then we got the other one with the squids coming out or whatever. I like that one as well, the one with the anime cover with Anime World on it. But this one right here, I'm like, Sahbabii, this is up there. This is up there for you in your discography. But I will say, people say that this is album of the year. I'm like, all right, guys, calm down.
Come on, bro.
Look, someone said that this year on the timeline. It was Sunny Digital. He said, album of the year. I said, is this the only album you listen to?
I think I saw you do that. Yeah. But I understand. Like, I don't want to stereotype him, but I'm pretty sure he ain't listen to like Common. You know what I'm saying?
Well, some people only listen to it because it got Grammy nominated. Now, I feel some type of way about that, but
because I know that's like one of your album. That's probably like your album of the year, right there.
But making this about Sahbabii because we'll talk about that later. Sahbabii. I honestly fully enjoyed this project, man. You came on here and you had something to prove, and while you do sound like you sound like an evolved version of Young Thug back in the blog era days. And I don't know, some people are like, oh, what are you talking about? For you young kids, y'all don't know nothing, so get out of here. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that was listening to Young Thug back then and probably was listening to Sahbabii during the SoundCloud era.
Yeah.
This Sahbabii sounds like Young Thug back then, but better.
Yeah.
It sounds more refined.
Good. Yeah.
So this actually sounds really good, though. Obviously, you got to bump this in the whip. You got to bump it in the whip.
Sound really good.
I agree. But yeah, Sahbabii, SAHEEM. I really enjoyed this Sahbabii. Keep doing your thing, man.
Facts. I ain't finished it. I said that before, like I said before.
But you liked what you heard, though.
Bro, that first 11.
You liked what you heard.
Built the ass.
Bell boys. Now you gotta listen to that vibe, Hey.
Oh, my God.
But that is about it for what we've been jamming. Let us know what you've been jamming down in the comment section down below wherever you are watching this.
Yes, sir.
Man, shout out to Beyond Beats and Culture.